Hi everybody. So here we are with another episode of Byte Ventures, and with us today here is Vivek Bansal, who has been working as a senior software engineer in Uber, and he has been writing some amazing articles on his blog, The Curious Engineer, and has given a talk recently in Bangalore. So he has some amazing experience, and he has been a great engineer so far. So welcome Vivek, and thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Satish, for having me. It is so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I've actually also looked up some of your videos online, and they're super, super great.
Thank you so much. So, with this, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Vivek, and I've been part of this field for almost 7 years. I've so far worked in three companies. My first company was Media.net, which was about like for 1.5 years, and then I basically switched to Grab in Bangalore, and then my that stint was about for 1.5 years again, and then I basically switched to Uber, which is the longest stint of my career so far. It is going to get completed like 4 years in September. And yeah, I mean, quick things about me is I like to play around, like some engineering stuff, which I have developed lately,
Okay.
by deep diving into things. And then I think my like pastime, or you can say hobbies, are basically playing badminton with friends, or just going out to hang out with them, or watching any movies. Yeah, that's how I like to spend my time. Yeah.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So, that's an interesting part, and I think you covered a couple of questions I had, but okay, cool. Okay, okay. So, but I was checking on your profile. So you passed out in 2017 as a mechanical engineer graduate, right? So, how did that switch happen to computer science, and what changed?
Yeah. So I think it is a very interesting story. So when I basically joined my college as a mechanical engineer, some of my seniors used to do computer science classes. We called them computer club classes.
Okay.
And then in those classes, the seniors used to prepare first year students, second year and third year students as well for training them on some core CS concepts.
Okay.
The level of difficulty would vary year wise. And then when I basically had gone to those classes, I developed an interest, in myself. The interest was already there, but it kind of got leveled up more. And I genuinely developed the interest towards, coding and,
Okay.
solving problems on different platforms like Codechef, HackerRank, and, Spoj was also there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think through that, like I organically developed my interest, and then in later years, like second year or third year, I basically, did competitive programming very much, and that kind of helped me, bag a job in computer science career itself. So yeah, that's how I basically decided or moved from mechanical to computer science. Yeah.
So, how are you liking it so far?
It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, some things which I like about this job is you get to spend your time in AC. There is no, you have to physically challenge your body by going to the field, which are there in other jobs. But yeah, mental exhaustion is there. I kind of like that as well. Like, okay, you have to sit down and brainstorm things. But yeah, I think I like, apart from jokes, I normally like that, you know, through coding, like you can really build some amazing stuff. And coding is one of the necessities that have come out, that, if you are in any field, you should know at least how to code so that you can programmatically automate things, and it can help you in your field, whatever field you are. Okay.
Yeah.
So that way I basically like the job more. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Cool. I think you said a very interesting thing. A couple of job switches you are in Uber, but you have been in this space with Grab and then Uber, right? So, What, like, is there any specific reason you chose this field, or that was just luck?
You mean software engineering, or are you talking
No,
about?
the ride sharing
Okay,
apps. Like Grab is also similar to Uber
okay,
in the
okay.
Southeast Asian markets, right?
Correct, correct. So I think that was pure luck. Like, I think when I basically joined Grab, I was looking for a job switch in Bangalore
Mm-hmm.
with probably more senior or experienced folks in the team who can guide or mentor me. Salary was one of the negotiation. Salary was one of the points, and then I think location was also concerning for me that I wanted to move to Bangalore. My earlier job in Media.net was in Mumbai. So
Oh, okay.
that was, yeah, so that was something which I had thought in mind that okay, all other things are better, let's go to Bangalore. And then yeah, I think from Grab to Uber, it happened kind of naturally. Like Uber, I had seen, their company blogs where they write the tech articles, and then it kind of gives me a good picture overall as an outsider that, they are building some really great engineering stuff. And I had a knack for going into a company where I would love to build on some cool products, and then learn things in depth. That's why basically it happened organically, and I think yeah, there was no intention behind it as
Okay,
such. Yeah.
interesting. So, did you see any cultural changes? Because both are working kind of in the similar space. If you kind of explain on that front a little bit.
I think there are no cultural differences, so too I can say, but there are, cultural similarities, which I would say about both of the companies. Like, for example, you can also say that I might have a lack of perspective, but I have seen some amazing engineers with me, and that kind of helped me elevate. So, yeah, that's coming solely from my perspective. So, I think one of the points which I really like about both of the companies is that the people who have developed things, they have built a great documentation, and they have explained their reasons of why things are done in a certain way. And
Mm-hmm.
if you kind of follow that, then the whole company wide the culture is kind of maintained. So I'll give you kind of some examples. For example, um, there is a practice to write engineering document, or doc design whenever we
Mm-hmm.
are writing, or whenever we are working on some complex projects.
Right.
And both of the companies follow a specific template.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it might be a very basic thing, but the templates are very core to the point that okay, no extra information need not be mentioned, and you can basically get clarity in your head while implementing things. Okay,
Got it.
so that is one of the points which I really like about both of the companies, Grab and Uber. And the other thing is that people in both of the companies are really smart. I think I have met some of the amazing people in Grab as well, and in Uber as well. People are super hardworking, and they are really collaborative in a way that if you have any issue, they'll be making sure to guide you so that you can unblock yourself and resolve the issue yourself. But if you're not able to, then they will come and sit down with you and then help you that okay, let's talk a little bit deeper. So yeah, I think both companies have a great culture, and yeah, it was great
Yeah.
working so far in both of the companies. Yes.
Yeah, I think that is pretty amazing because once you grow up, or pretty much when you're a new joinee, you will want some support, right? Uh, because everyone is working, so people to carve out their time, it is important for the junior engineers to get that support. And also when you get senior, it is expected of you to like work independently. So if there is proper design, proper thought process written out, I think that helps a lot for the onboarding stuff as well. So pretty cool. Yeah, and considering Uber, I really like Uber's culture. Like they tell out a lot in public, especially in their engineering blogs with difficult problem
Yeah.
statements. They have solved very niche problem statements in that market with the driver location and all stuff. I think no one did that before, so that is pretty amazing on that front. So yeah, great job. So we are talking with this. So why don't you tell like what you do at Uber on a overall sense, not breaching any of your contracts and all stuff.
Yeah, sure, sure. So I think, yeah, I mean, I'm basically have been a part of two teams so far in Uber. The first team was called Places team. where we were basically part of the Maps organization and helping Uber enrich more trips using Uber Places dataset. And the second thing which I'm part of is called earner onboarding, which basically takes care of the entire onboarding process whenever a driver signs up onto the platform.
Okay.
The typical day, which basically looks like in my day-to-day job life, is that normally I spend about 3 to 4 hours, doing some coding stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like working on my projects, or if there is some ad hoc task which is there, then if I have to work on that, that is, majority of my work, 3 to 4 hours, and then the rest of the majority work goes into, meetings. Meetings is basically, you can say, it is well, balanced throughout the day because we have US counterpart as well as part of our teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like around 2 to 3 hours per day, on an average. And
Okay.
then the rest of the hours, like about 3 hours or something, goes in some informal one-on-ones or, some code reviews, design reviews, or, ERD review meetings, all those stuff. So you can say that is pretty much the distribution, like
Okay.
of my job in, yeah, day-to-day life at
Awesome.
the moment.
So what's the tech stack that you have been working on?
The tech stack is like, I mean, I don't think that there is any restriction as such as to what I've seen in Uber. I have worked
Mm-hmm.
on Java as well in my previous team, and then I'm working on Golang right now. We have on Python as well some use case, and then like databases side, we are using some custom databases for our own use case that basically helps solve a particular niche for our team itself. And then I think apart from that, we are using Kafka, Redis, Grafana for monitoring.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the same usual stuff that we're using. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So when you said you're using a custom database, is it like open sourced yet or not yet?
I think no, it is not open source yet. So like in Maps, we used to had a custom doc store which is being built for the Maps use case itself. But yes, for our teams and some of the teams at Uber, there is a custom solution which is being built so that people get more benefit for that specific use case. And yeah, like some of the teams are basically using that solution, including ours.
Oh yeah, I think I have read an article where it was some kind of My Docs or something on the doc store, right?
Yeah, right. I think they have written 1 or 2 articles around that. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Moving on, you recently spoke at a data engineering conference in Bangalore, right? So can you just tell about what was your experience? How did you get a chance? What did you spoke about mostly?
Okay. Yeah, I think the engineering meetup was really, really great. So it actually happened yesterday only.
Oh,
So I
nice.
think it was pretty good experience for me. Yes. So I think how I got the opportunity was that a person named Ankur reached out to me on LinkedIn saying that we are having this data engineering meetup, and like he had written some of my articles and he wanted me to kind of present the thoughts which I had captured in those blogs, and like it would also serve me as a great opportunity to interact and learn with other folks as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I was quite intrigued about it, that okay, let's have a meetup and then see that how the discussion goes. This was actually my first meetup, to be very honest. I think yeah, apart from that, like after I got the invite and then I went to the meetup, the place was really filled with amazing folks. The engineers working over there, the data engineers, software engineers, all in all, everyone was having a great depth of knowledge. And I realized that these meetups, like when you go out in public and present your thoughts, and then you capture some of the thoughts from other people as well, you get a sense of what you have read so far, how much
Mm-hmm.
of that is validated through other people's knowledge, and then you basically get to know a couple of points which you can use for your research later on. So that would help you level up even more. And
Okay.
through these meetups, I think, yeah, people also get to, you know, stay in touch a little bit, like for the next meetups or for the future collaborations or for any informal talks. So in a way, I think it builds overall a nice community for, yeah, everyone interested in this space.
Oh,
Yes.
amazing. So yeah, that is pretty interesting. I think every software engineer wants to give a talk sometimes in a bigger community and stuff like that. So pretty amazing. So okay, if someone is really interested in speaking out, if one of the audience wants to speak out in a conference, how do you think is the best way to kind of participate in this big scale events?
Okay. So I think, yeah, I mean, yesterday's meetup was quite informal, and I think people had expressed a lot of interest, and it was kind of small. We were a like bunch of 30 people or something, but I think, from my experience, or I would say that to get such opportunities where you can speak at large scale, I would say that people have to first probably showcase some of their strengths of speaking abilities or knowledge, and put it out there so that the people on the other hand who are inviting other speakers or who
Mm-hmm.
wants to have such meetups, they can get validation of that, okay, this person which I'm inviting knows a couple or two things, so that they would also get to learn from them, and the community which is coming up, they will also feel, their time getting respect, that okay, we are getting something to learn from a new person. So I think the one way to do is that you put your content out there, write blogs, or speak normally, create maybe short videos or long videos, something like that, and that would
Mm-hmm.
just give you a content out there to someone to receive. And then the next thing I could say is that if you are probably not receiving and are particularly interested in speaking at a conference, just attend as a listener. I think yesterday when we were discussing, so many of the folks who were very knowledgeable, they were not presenting anything, but they had really great questions. Like, they were going to the depth and asking questions. So they also presented their thoughts. Hey, that I'm kind of, very much interested in this space and I have researched
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And then, out of nowhere, we sparked a conversation that, hey, maybe you should present, around this topic the next time. So you will eventually get the opportunity out of, being the audience member itself. So yeah, I think that could be the other way to speak at these conferences. Yes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think writing it out is something which kind of validates the first point, right? If someone is calling you or inviting you, they will want that the audience or the listeners are not getting the time wasted. So if you have some kind of stature and putting it out in public, I think is one of the great qualities out there. Awesome.
Correct.
What did you learn? Like, can you list out a couple of things you learned from that?
Yeah, sure. So I think like there were a couple of things. So like I mean I'm a software engineer who actually has worked in like Grab or Uber kind of big MNCs. But I think the one thing is that when you work at such big scale companies, a lot of things get abstracted out, and you basically see the upper interface layer where you
Yeah.
can interact with these tools and technologies, but don't get to deep dive a lot. So I think the one thing is, of course, you can go ahead and deep dive. Nobody is stopping you, but it might not be your primary core job to actually, deep dive into this stuff, and that might not be expected from you. So one thing which I would say, like from yesterday's meetup, I could definitely learn is people were coming from different backgrounds, like data engineering. Okay, there were some software engineers as well, like me, and people were kind of sharing things, so I get to know a lot about that, what is happening in the data engineering space. Some of the things which were being discussed around like were data lake house, data lake, data warehouse, and
Mm-hmm.
what are the tools and technologies which are currently in the space. And then we were discussing that, okay, like what are the internals of these technologies, and then using the internals of these technologies or some of the research papers which were published, they basically got inspired. They, as in the E6 data
Mm-hmm.
team, who was basically the organizer of the event, and they basically shared a lot about their, tech stack and how they got inspired and what product did they build. So I think that was very new to me. The space was very new to me, and I got to learn a little bit more. So couple of things were like there was a file format called Parquet, which I
Yeah.
was not aware of, and yeah, I think we deep dived a lot into how Parquet basically stores the file. There is a footer
Mm-hmm.
note at the end which basically helps you read the file in an efficient manner. So all those things were very new to me, and I think I've taken a note of these points to kind of research them later and study about. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think in the data engineering space, I think Parquet is one of the biggest players. I think with columnar
Yeah.
formats and all stuff, so it's doing amazing. Cool. Okay, let's move on. I think let's talk about your writing journey. You have been writing some pretty good articles. I've been following that, starting from staying organized, writing 10 articles or 20 articles each time to kind of deep diving into Facebook's recommendation systems and all stuff, right? So why don't you tell us about your writing journey? How did it start, and what is your motivation?
Yeah, sure. So I think normally I started putting content out, in last June itself, last year June, and I think yeah, it's been over a year itself. So I normally started thinking about that. Okay, we read a lot of content, but we don't get to apply that knowledge somewhere. Uh, what is the best way, next best way to learn and absorb things as much as possible that we are reading, even if we are applying or if we want to apply in future, what could be the next best way to learn things? Okay, because
Mm-hmm.
there are things which you absorb online, but you might not be able to apply them immediately or might
Mm-hmm.
want to try them and test them later.
Yep.
So I thought of first putting out the content on LinkedIn. So I was trying to create posts around technical space, and then sharing my thoughts on technical content, on technical things itself in LinkedIn. And then slowly and gradually, I think people started interacting with my content. They gave me useful recommendations that, okay, this is something new or this is something which you should read on. It helped me fill my gap as well in the space. And I was able to, cover a lot of things which I myself as a software engineer should have cared about, but did not care about till that point of time. So yeah, I mean, that gave me a very organic spark in myself, you can say, that by
Yep.
seeing what people are recommending to me, what people are creating content, from other creators, that was kind of inspiring to me. And I think that's how I started the journey. But then later on, I realized that putting out content on LinkedIn is very raw. It's like a, Instagram post or a video that once you put it, then it'll be lost forever and you cannot go back and research it. You'll have to do all the effort of scrolling back in your profile and then, search it again. So I thought that if I have to do it like on regular basis, I can do that for sure. But what will make it a good resource is that if I write well structured blogs and people can probably refer that, or I can also refer that, like that is my primary motivation. If I've read
Mm-hmm.
some topic and I do like bunch of things on week basis, and if I don't remember the concept now, I would just go to that blog simply, which is written by me. And there is a saying, once you write something, you basically get an impression, small impression of it, and you get to recollect it very quickly that, okay, I had written it that way. So that was my motivation, and I think people were benefiting from it a lot. That is kind of something happened on side by itself. But I think, yeah, overall, then I basically developed this habit that, okay, like if I'm writing, let's also commit the topics which I want to write about. Like I'll pick out a list of 10 things which I know about or which I don't know about, and then write blogs on them on weekly basis. So that's how I basically started the journey, and yeah, it's been kind of continued so far. So I think, yeah, let's see till what time I can continue this. Yeah.
That is I think a great initiative. I think the only style that kind of hit me different, because a lot of people were writing, but a lot of the things I liked about your blog was you kind of mentioning all the 10 or 20 articles we'll cover in the next coming sessions. And everything started from very basic. So even if a person reading has no clue at all, and like probably 5, 10 minutes or 20 minutes after spending your article, he will get a decent understanding of the article, and then at the end he'll get a little bit of deep dive into that article as well. I really liked your Kafka post. I enjoyed that, and I read a couple of blogs. It was pretty interesting. I do read it a lot, so yeah, thank you so much for that. So
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you for appreciating. Yeah.
yeah. So you have been following some of Topmates, right?
Yeah.
How's your experience with Topmate? I think I read some of your testimonials. They're pretty amazing testimonials on that side as well. Why don't you walk us through the process?
Yeah, so I think I'll be very transparent. Like I started, the top mate itself to think of that. Okay, what could be a way to give back the community? But let's make sure that I am kind of not demotivated throughout the overall process. That's why I made it chargeable, and that's why I made it sure that okay, if people are being serious about it, then I'll also be serious about it and give them something more beyond the interviews itself. So for example, like before everything like top made or putting out content on LinkedIn, I basically had a session with one of the people who hit me up randomly on Google Meet and LinkedIn, and they said they wanted to just connect me with me on Google Meet. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? Let's just have a quick catch up of 30 minutes. And then they just walked me through that, okay, they are facing some problems in, interviewing with other companies. I think it was about the time when I
Mm-hmm.
was actually, had switched from Media to Grab. I think it was somewhere around that time. So when he basically walked me through his journey, then I basically kind of resonated with him that, okay, these are some challenges which people normally face, and I might or might not have been able to come up with them with people around me, but there are people who do not have a good circle, or they might still face those challenges and might not be able to overcome them. So I basically had a free session for over a month, like with like 50 odd people or something, 50 and 60 people. And yeah, I think from that's the point where I kind of started helping people, and they kind of connected with me for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then from there, like later on, like post few years later, like I realized that okay, there could be another way where I can basically help the people, and people who are looking for knowledge or for help, they should basically come and try to have an opportunity to schedule session with me or someone like me who can basically guide them or mentor them. So yeah, I think the overall journey has been really good. I had made it chargeable just to filter out the crowd so that people don't ask very basic questions. I think there is job scarcity as well in terms of freshers, and the freshers also get to disappoint a lot. I think yeah, I've been sharing content out there for helping and motivating them as well, but the overall intention remains the same, that people who are struggling in designs are not able to overcome interview process with their soft skills, with their behavioral skills being not up to the mark. I
Mm-hmm.
basically help them get up to the level, and if they want to conduct any mock interview or something, they can also schedule a call with me. That's how basically it started, and it's been going pretty well. Yeah.
Interesting. So you said about mentorship. So how is mentorship for you? Like, where do you seek mentors from, or who do you seek answers from when you get stuck on a problem?
So the thing is that normally people seek mentorship as a long-term game plan or something. Like for example, doing a bi-weekly meeting with someone, or something like that. But normally I seek mentorship in terms of short actionable mentorship if I have to get mentorship from someone. So, for example, at Uber, there used to be a mentoring session, and there is going to happen one now as well, where people will help each other with different kind of questions you have in your day-to-day life at Uber, and that will help you excel even better in your career and your day-to-day responsibilities at Uber as well. So similarly, I basically sign up for these sessions, or basically I hit up someone on LinkedIn and help, and ask for help that, okay, if this is something which is happening, then how should I go about it? And like, it's not like I need to ask someone to come up on a call itself. I basically prepare a list of questions and then randomly ask people that, okay, if I have to solve these three problems or four problems, how do I go about it? So,
Mm-hmm.
generally, whenever I get a response, I get that response and, store it somewhere. And like after taking feedback from multiple people, I consolidate all the response and then see that, okay, what is the actionable tip that I can get out of those feedbacks or suggestions? And
Mm-hmm.
then from time to time implement those, suggestions and then, get better at what I'm doing in my day-to-day job. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's now my plan.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. So I think we'll wrap up with a very interesting part of the session, which is like, what are some of the advices that you want to give to junior engineers who want to, like, let's say, grow in their careers or want to switch to bigger companies? So if you have like short, actionable couple of advices, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I think, yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things. One is that most software engineers, when they get a job, they basically get settled with the job itself. The thing is that while you're preparing for the job, you do a lot of upskilling in yourself, and that benefits you in terms of good company, good people around you, great tech which you are working on or about to work on, great salary, and lot of good things. So I'm saying like uh, running after the end goal is one thing, but if you inhibit the upskilling game in your behavior, that is going to change a lot of things for you around you. Okay, so one thing is don't leave upskilling just after you get into a new job, or you basically stop learning new things even if you are comfortable in one job for like let's say I have been in Uber for around 4 years now. Then the one thing which I would advise myself is that not to get comfortable or too comfortable in the current job itself. As you know, like we work in an industry which is very volatile and it
Yeah.
comes and go. So yeah, one thing is that please do keep yourself updated with at least the technologies which are predominantly being worked upon in the market. I would not indulge someone or advise someone to focus too much on AI space. It's a new space altogether. You know, very good and very expertise people in this domain. They are also figuring out new stuff and launching new things. So yeah, I think I would not advise someone to matter that much into this new space. But yes, upskilling is one. The other things are, if you feel you're stuck, please reach out for help. It's not like, I mean, just to give a context, like when I used to do CP, there was a contest on Codechef called Long Challenge, on which we
Yeah.
used to take one problem and then sit for 10 days and think about, hey, how are we going to solve this problem? This does not happen in real life. You should probably ask out more for help. People are there, and the problems in normal career of software engineering, it gets a little bit tricky. You won't get to know that okay, you are facing that problem, but you will face the repercussions of that problem, and you will be given feedback multiple times, but you will not know how to take actions upon it. So yeah, the other thing is to help or to ask for help. And I think one thing which I would always advise, irrespective of how senior you are or how junior you are, and it applies to me as well, that
Mm-hmm.
our job is actually software engineering, which centers around one point, which is coding. I would say that some of the best engineers, at a very senior level, I've experienced them, seeing code day in and day out. Like they know, things about coding, they know things about their product, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, more importantly, they have not lost the touch of coding itself. So that's where they are able to, make their stick in the game, and they are able to sort of still relate to the very core competency of what being a software engineer is. Impact is everything is which people will chase, people will push down harder, to leverage other people in the team and to get more and more, impact out of other people in your team. But coding and designing is one skill, like I would say, uh, just go hard on it, see what other people are writing, review their code and design, and then just keep upskilling in this competency overall. You will be a better software engineer in your career, at every stage of life. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. So yeah, I think that was an amazing discussion, and with that question, I'll try to wrap up this podcast, and hopefully we'll get much more chances to interact, to know more about your problem solvings at Uber, and of course your more conferences talk. So thank you so much for joining in today, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, Siddesh. It was really, really nice talking to you. And yeah, I hope we meet someday, sometime later.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
All right, thank you.